Hello and welcome to the thewazchronicle, and in this chronicle we should be looking at push factors. So what were push factors? There's two sides, there's push and pull factors. So the question is simple: why do you think people travelled from the east of America to the west? What caused them to go there? What pulled them towards that place? What pushed them there? Was it family, friends? See, actually there was two sides to the argument. It's kind of like when you look at a coin, there's two sides to the same coin, and this is the case in this scenario. So let's look at some of the factors. You have push factors. These are factors that send people away from the east. Situation might not be great, so they move to the west. You have factors such as economical, social, political, environmental, poverty, unemployment, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, you have pull factors, something that draws people to the west. Now these could be anything from the idea of a utopia, even it could be the fact that they want safety, stability, even some freedom, or maybe they get free land. So let's start off with push factors. What do we actually know? See, it all starts with the Great Migration. The Great Migration kicks off in 1843 and leads to mass settlement. It starts off with a party of about 900 people who move west. And when they move west and they're successful, other people see this and decide to follow their route. But how is this the actual push factor, you might be asking? And the answer is simple. People now realize that if a group of 900 could do it, anyone could. And people in mass decided to take their families over to the west, knowing that they were quite safe if they followed the same route and prepared properly. See, this was because life in the east was really hard, and they thought they'd get a better life in the west. Think about it, if your life's not great, you want to move, and you hear about utopia where there's money, jobs and so on, obviously you'll move. And that's exactly what people did. See, one of the problems in the east was the fact that there was an economic recession. Now, economic problems played a massive part in people moving to the west. They didn't have a great life in the east, so they thought we could rebuild our life in the west and obviously make something anew. An economic recession had hit in 1837, and the banks that had everyone's money and businesses just collapsed. Everyone was looking for a job and they couldn't find a single one. So people realized, listen, I ain't got a livelihood here, I might as well move. Settlers in the west had better wages. See, profits fell, unemployment rose, and people realized, hold up, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I need to move. And then news trickled in about riches in the west, and people start realizing, hold up, why am I staying here? People talked about gold and saying you can become rich in an instant, and everyone decided this might be the life for me. Just keep in mind, gold is valuable. Then there's another push factor, and that was overpopulation. See, in order to claim land in America, the US government encouraged migration and immigration in its entirety. When the east was getting overcrowded, the west seemed like a nice place to go. See, high levels of European immigration from Ireland and Germany in particular meant that the east of America was densely populated, and that meant opportunities weren't easy to come by. But on the other hand, the west was completely different. There was ample opportunity. People sold it as this land of opportunity, and the government pushed forward the idea of an American dream. You can own your own home, you can have your own land, and everybody wanted that. You see, when the government pushed forward the idea of conquering the east and settling on the land, they thought it was a great thing, but there was a massive negative consequence. Think about it, if there's too many people in one spot, it's harder to get a job, it's harder to get any amenities, so it becomes difficult for people. See, mass migration led to overcrowded cities, there's fewer jobs, and there wasn't enough land. That wasn't the case elsewhere, but think about it, if you were someone who was a farmer and you didn't have enough land, how are you going to make a living? The migrants decided that there's fertile land elsewhere, and then they heard news about the west, and they heard that it's really easy to farm there, why not move there? And that's exactly what they did. And this brings us on to our final push factor, and that was disease. See, a large number of immigrants had settled in the east, and that led to overcrowding. But when anyone got ill, they spread that disease really quickly. Now, sanitation wasn't great. That was another problem in itself. See, people didn't clean themselves properly or their environment. They just threw rubbish on the streets, and street cleaning wasn't something that was common. Also, people that were living in the cities had to live in crowded environments. And think about it, this isn't something new. The Romans had mentioned about miasma thousands of years before, but no one had taken note, and they'd forgotten about this knowledge, and that was a problem because this led to epidemics. You had yellow fever, you had cholera. See, these diseases were spread by mosquitoes and unclean water. Combined with the poor sanitation that I mentioned earlier, Diseases spread like wildfire. People wanted to escape this, and in order to do this, many settlers decided we're going to head west. There's no diseases over there, and we probably have a better standard of living. And like Dora the Explorer, they decided to pack their bags and head to the west. So the question is, what do you think was the most significant push factor and why? Just leave it in the comments below. And while we're on the subject of push factors, make sure to check out the pull factor video so you understand the opposing side of the coin. And that's the end of the chronicle about push factors. If you do get a moment, please do like, comment, share the video, and of course, if you do have a chance, please do subscribe. It helps the channel grow. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye bye.